What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Couple Things.
With Shawn and Andrew.
Today, we might get in another argument.
Who knows? We're going to be talking about our biggest frustrations in marriage, parenting, maybe even life in general.
Yeah. I will say, when we tend to do episodes like this, where we're like looking at something kind of negative, it usually doesn't end well.
Well, let me preface it by saying I'm not viewing this as something negative. What my goal is for us to talk about maybe some things we otherwise wouldn't talk about in a way that would lead to some solutions.
Okay.
I'm approaching this optimistically and curiously.
I'm on
for
the edge of my
solutions.
seat.
And we're opening up the discussion. So if you all have solutions to some of our frustrations or frustrations of your own that you're looking for solutions for, go ahead and share them in the comments.
Like a giant vent session, which is kind of my favorite.
No, I'm not viewing this as a vent session.
It's my vent session. I'm going to vent away.
Let me reiterate, not a vent session for me. This is
Vent session for me.
Let's do some life updates first, though.
Okay.
Because a lot's going on. A lot of good things.
So much is going on. So much is going on that my brain can't organize into filing cabinets. And so I feel like, you know that episode Bruce Almighty where all the filing cabinets just kind of explode?
Yeah, I do know that. I
That's
love
what
that
my
scene.
brain feels like. I have too many tabs open and I forgot where some of the tabs are.
It'll be okay. Hopefully they're not important tabs.
Can I give you a little piece of advice?
Yeah.
There's a time in life, many times, as a wife, where like when wives vent, the last thing we want to hear is, "It's gonna be okay." I want you to be like,
all right, it's time.
You know what?
It's time to panic.
Oh, that sucks.
Time to panic. Time to panic. Everybody, it's time to freak out. It is not going to be okay.
Or be like, you know what? I've felt that way. Ugh, there's a lot going on.
Well, I wasn't expecting to start the episode right now, and we won't. But maybe that's one of each other's biggest frustrations is sometimes I'm too optimistic and you're too pessimistic. It's like, you know what? Maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
That's why we got married.
That's right. We have one of the things is the Beam Kids All-in-One Super Powder has launched.
Woo woo!
This has been such a fun project to work on, dialing in the flavors, the ingredients, making sure that it is top of the line in every way. And I think we've done it. I think we've done it
too. And I'm really proud of this. It's for kids. It is essentially a greens powder, a multivitamin, a probiotic, and a prebiotic. So like almost 4, if not 5 different supplements you would buy for your kid, all in one. And it tastes like chocolate milk. It's so good.
Shawn has really poured her heart and soul into this. And you know we love our all-in-one multivitamins. We wanted something for our kids to taste and take that tasted good. How about all that for teas? Huh? And I think we've done it. So if you're interested, you could check out the links down below and get your own. But we're also working on this remodel project.
We're building a house. Yeah. That's a big project.
Yeah. Do I love it? No. Am I trying to be as uninvolved as possible? Yeah. I'm trying to stay in my lane.
I think we're doing a good job.
I'm trying to stay in my lane. You're doing a good job.
I feel like we are less overwhelmed than the last time we did this.
I think I agree. No, I don't agree. No, disagree.
Really?
I disagree. Yeah.
Really good.
It's been more stressful for me for sure.
Good. I'm sorry. Something really cool though is we actually got to go to the showroom for Tisdale, and they showed us all of the appliances that we're ordering for our house and taught us like how to use them. It was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I went in thinking like, okay, they're appliances. Like what? And this is like Sub-Zero, Wolf, and Cove. And it was so cool. We got to work with a private chef. She showed us like all the different things we've never utilized when it comes to an oven or a skillet. And it was really fun.
It was really cool. I'm a big tech gadget guy. And so to see kitchen tech was really awesome. But also it's kind of timeless. Like Wolf has been around forever. And so, but to see how they've iterated on these things, like the steam oven was sweet. Yeah. And on top of that, it was like a taste test. So we pretty much just got to eat all this delicious food that had been cooked and all this kitchen appliances. It was great.
So, shout out to Tisdale. That was so cool. You made something really cool.
That's right.
Yeah.
Shawn's still been grinding in the gym.
Yep.
Beast, you set that PR
I
last
deadlifted
week.
215.
You
I
did
was
snatches
snatching today.
Wow.
Feeling strong.
Still doing sourdough.
Still
Speaking of
doing
cooking.
sourdough. I've crossed quite a few things off of our annual goals already.
Good for you.
My personal annual goals.
Yeah. We did hit a slight speed bump on the sourdough. Shawn made her first loaf she wasn't pleased with. I said
2 back to back.
I said keep pushing. I mean, no, you don't like to hear that. I said it's terrible, babe. It's not going to be okay. This is not okay.
Good
That's
job.
what you want to hear, right?
Good job,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
You know what, Andrew?
What?
You're perfect just the way you are.
Thank you.
Keep doing it.
Thank you.
I'll keep complaining.
about my encouragement. It's good.
I love you.
But with that as a foundation, let's do today's episode. So today we are going to talk about some of the things that you have likely experienced yourself if you've been married or parenting for any amount of time. If you have kids of your own, you know, there are some frustrations that come around every now and then. And I actually think I have personally reframed these frustrations to being really something I dread when they come around, to something where I'm like, this is a gut check. This is more about me than it is about the frustration. I used to try to like navigate around the thing, but now it's like these kids books we read where it's you can't go over it, you can't go under it, you got to go through it, right?
I'm really interested and intrigued because I haven't read this one.
Yeah.
You've read this one.
Yeah.
I want to know what they are.
I was in the middle of a metaphor there, of the analogy though, of going through it like the kids book, and you just got to go through the frustrations. That's how you learn the lesson.
That was a cue, Andrew.
That was to move on.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So despite the frustrations though, it is important as we talk about this to also realize that parenting and marriage are the biggest blessings in life.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good ways to do life. We think marriage and parenting is one way. For us, our marriage and parenting experience has been our biggest blessing.
Don't wait too long to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So my worst fear is for us to get 20 years down the road and be like, oh, I wish we would have enjoyed it a little bit more. No, enjoy it now.
It's such a challenge to hold the frustrations and the joy together though, right? But it's an ancient concept. You look at like yin and yang, or you look at all the conversations we've had on the podcast, joy and pain go together.
Yeah.
But the deepest joy comes after the darkest nights. So we're going to talk about our frustrations. Let's go ahead and kick into it, babe, so that you can just roll on with your day.
Deepest joys come out of the darkest nights.
That's right. Okay, so
we should start a book on one-liners from Andrew.
This is one of the frustrations we've recently experienced, and that is the winter sickness when you have young children.
Amen.
The amount of runny noses and the amount of snot coming out of those runny noses for 6 to 8 weeks from December to the end of January is appalling.
The winter sickness is brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal. And I don't feel like there's any way to get around it. You're stuck inside. You're trying to figure out activities. You either hibernate and like never see a soul, or you go out and your kids get sick. The amount of antibiotics, ear infections, coughs that last all night. It's really frustrating.
It's a lot. And several of our kids were sick for quite a while. And you're trying to send them to school, do the right thing. Inevitably, there's a bug that's going around and everybody catches the bug, or you go home for Christmas. This has happened 4 of the last 5 Christmases for our family. Like we had the norovirus that one year, which was total carnage. It was like you didn't even end up seeing the family because you just were all sick, locked in your room.
There were only 2 people who didn't get it. Do you remember? Me and Andrea.
Oh, man.
So we were the ones picking up puke for a week.
And I actually think that's why this is one of my biggest frustrations, is because it's a time where I expect to spend the most time with my loved ones. And then it ends up getting derailed by sicknesses.
Well, you also have to think. So like you have your winter illnesses to begin with, which are always not fun because you're not getting your fresh air. You're not getting your vitamin D. You're not getting like out in the sun. You're cooped up. So it's already just worse. But then, especially for holidays, we're all traveling in from all over, bringing different sicknesses from different parts of the country, different ages. And there's how many kids now? And they all stay under one roof, and they're all coughing and touching and loving on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just isn't great.
And then you compound that with the subtle slow burn frustration of giving your kids antibiotics, which is like at some point you give your kids so many antibiotics, you're like, I don't think this is good for them anymore.
Yeah.
And then the process of actually giving them the antibiotics is also with like a 1-year-old who doesn't want the medicine and spits it out all over your face every time you try to do it. Then you got to lock them in the arm, and it just becomes like it's a lot to navigate.
I'll never forget seeing your face. You had Bear locked in one arm, and you were trying to give him his antibiotic, and he literally went.
Yeah.
And just like blew it on your face.
Yeah, he wasn't about it. He was not about it.
Your reaction was great. I will also say, let me add to the winter another frustration.
Okay.
Adding to the winter sickness. Us as parents, our philosophy is kind of like everything in moderation. So we try to eat healthy. We try to teach our kids healthy habits. We try to like, limit screen time and limit sugar and stuff. But when it comes to life, it's everything in moderation. We're still going to go out and get ice cream and have a treat every once in a while. But on top of just your average every other weekend kind of like birthday party that you're celebrating for a friend or whatever, going from Halloween straight into Thanksgiving, straight into Christmas, straight into New Year's with the candy and the sugar and the desserts with kids, I just want to be like, no more.
It's kind of like a testing ground that season of how you're going to navigate this, what your real parenting style is. Because like there's all are you going to spoil them with a ton of gifts or not? How are you going to navigate that? You give them anything they want to eat or not? How do you navigate that? The family time and the different family styles. It really is like it's a stealing phase.
But if their immunity is already knocked down, we're just funneling them with sugar.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
I know I said I'm going to try to have like an optimistic takeaway with each of these. I'm trying to find one here. I guess you walk out of there with better immune systems.
Wow. Yeah.
I want to talk about another frustration. The next one.
Okay.
As a married couple, this is something I thought we would be able to find a system for, and then it would just be smooth sailing from then on out. But Shawn and I's approach to scheduling and our expectations for calendar usage and planning are so different that it's always like pushing the rock up the hill. And no, that's not a bad thing.
It's always
always
pushing
an effort.
A rock up a hill.
Me trying to.
It's always grinding. Such a grind.
It is. It's tough because I'm like, dang, I don't want to let you down. This does not come naturally. And then no matter how I'm trying to navigate through it, it's like, okay, I gotta like, how do I do this? If what's the right way for me to communicate this? And also, I just got invited last second, and I don't know all the details. And Shawn wants all these details, and then when I communicate them without all the details, you're frustrated, even though I'm trying to help communicate what I do know, so that we can get as much ahead of the game as possible. You know what I'm saying?
I think he's venting.
No, I'm not venting.
I think you're venting.
I'm not. I'm just trying to explain that I'm trying my hardest, and I know I'm still falling up short. I'm venting about myself and my own shortcomings.
Same. I expect too much.
I'm a
control freak.
I actually don't agree with you on that.
I will say, always having to get on the same page. Is that the one we're doing? Or managing expectations?
Yeah.
It's this idea of like, it can be very frustrating and hard to have two completely different human beings try to agree and be on the same page with every single thing in life. And as you like are into the marriage thing longer, it just becomes more and more things. Not just like how you live in a house. It's like, where do you want to live? Do you get along with in-laws, finances, then it's kids, and it's their sleep schedule and their nutrition and their schools, and how do you do discipline, and like it's all these things.
And spending habits and like the roles that you're each playing. It gets nuanced, but this is what I'm saying. My optimistic takeaway on this one is I am so grateful that you've had the patience with me to stick around as I've personally grown to learn how to communicate better. You know what I'm saying? And plan better and be more considerate with my time and intentional with our time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So my takeaway is like, it's helping me improve, which then improves our marriage and our family. And I think that's the real fun canvas that family and marriage presents.
I think our marriage is helping me not be so uptight. You're helping me not be uptight. I'm helping you tighten up a little bit.
Tighten up. Tighten up. All right. So do we want to talk about this one? The sleep frustration? It's still somewhat of a sore
I think
subject.
we've gotten in a groove.
I
think we're doing a great job.
Did.
You guys, we've officially launched our big project. Andrew and I co-created Beam Kids as a solution to get your kids 40 plus essential ingredients, including greens, probiotics, prebiotics, fruits, and vitamins. Even the pickiest eaters will love Beam Kids because it comes in a chocolate milk flavor all kids love. It's the perfect combination of health for kids and less stress for parents. Our kids are obsessed with it, and we've heard amazing feedback so far. We cannot wait for you to try it as well.
Every supplement we previously found for our kids was always missing something. We found greens without probiotics, probiotics without vitamins, or vitamins without a kid-friendly flavor. There just wasn't a single product that brought it all together. But now we just mix 1 scoop of Beam Kids with water and milk, shake it up, and let our kids enjoy what they think is chocolate milk, but we know is packed with vitamins.
Beam Kids is now available online at shopbeam.com/couplethings. Because you're a listener to our show, you can take advantage of our early access price of up to 40% off, plus a free reusable cup and travel pack using code couplethings.
Get your kids all-in-one super powder and your free gift by heading over to shopbeam, that's BEAM.com/couplethings. Enter the code couplethings. Again, that's shopbeam.com/couplethings and use code couplethings for up to 40% off.
A huge frustration amongst us. Maybe not amongst other people, but I would be surprised. It's just dealing with sleep when it comes to babies.
And marriage, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sleep, when I'm snoring every now and then, and
yeah,
you don't really like that, so then you wake me up, and then I don't really
every
like that.
now and then.
And then you add the kids on there, and when they wake up, okay, so this is kind of the heart of the issue for Shawn and I. Shawn wakes up if you're making any noise at all, she will wake up, and I'm creeping around the house and trying to be quiet when there's no kids, still wakes her up. But when there's a baby crying, it will wake her up. She wakes up immediately and needs to take care of it.
Absolutely.
Because anytime a baby's crying too, the other thing is your urgency is so high. Baby crying, I need to get there right now.
Think about what you just said. Yes.
If they're in their crib, it's not like a injury cry. It's like, oh, they're up, and that's just what babies do. Okay. I'm not. Then hold on. Hold your horses. Me, on the other hand, I don't wake up easy. So a baby could be crying right next to me for 5 minutes before I become conscious. Shawn thinks I'm faking it or something. She's like, why don't you just wake up? And I'm like, I don't know if you know how sleep works, but I'm not
No, that's not the frustration. The frustration is Andrew will finally.
I'm nervous.
Andrew will finally wake up. And I'll be like, babe, you said you were going to go get him. And you said this was your night. You took, you're supposed to be taking care of him. We alternate whose night it is, whatever. And I'm like, you said you were going to take care of him. And you will say, you'll be like, he's literally been crying for 0.2 seconds.
Because I just woke up.
And I will be like, he has not. He has been crying.
Oh, man.
This sounds awful.
Yeah.
Our kids don't go ever longer than maybe a couple of minutes. The couple of minutes it takes us to get up there.
Yeah.
But if you say it's your night, then man up and wake up.
What do you mean when you say wake up?
We're gonna
man up and wake up.
Okay.
What do you mean?
This is what I mean. Remember when your baby brother had to get to school?
Yes.
Do you remember that? And he kept oversleeping and not hearing his alarm and not hearing the phone ring and not hearing people knock on the door and not hearing his Uber driver knock on the window. And you were like,
that's a great story.
And you literally said, be a mature man and figure it out. Figure out whatever you need to wake yourself up to take care of business.
This is not a pre-planned event, though, that I set an alarm for or 2 alarm or however many alarms.
It happens every night.
Oh, my God.
So we could come up with a system at some point. We're 6 years in. At some point, you could figure out a system that wakes you up.
If you know of something to bring me out of sleep, out of the hibernating state,
I'm gonna invent, as soon as a baby cries on the phone or on the Nanit, a swinging lever arm is just
to
gonna
your nuts.
go straight to your face. Just like
right into your nuts. I'm glad we talked about this because for a second I thought there's some miscommunication of I don't know if I'm understanding her frustration well, but I do understand it and I just disagree with it totally. But we've settled into a good into a good little cadence.
How can you hear the baby brother story and you're like, he just needs to be a man and figure it out. He had school every day. Yeah, you have a child every day.
We gotta add that to the best story series because that's a great story. Anyway, the optimistic silver lining to this one is when the kids do wake up in the middle of the night and you get the midnight cuddles.
It's the best.
There is nothing like it. It is a magical, holy time. I just think holding the baby while they're sleeping in your arms. There's nowhere else that you could rather be. There's nothing happening anywhere else in the world. This is a whole thing. Is you holding the baby? That is precious. I'll take that all day, every day, as long as I can wake up.
You know something else that gets frustrating?
What?
It's cute and we get it, but the whole like bedtime routine, we're like every night at the same time, we're doing the bedtime routine with the kids. And to see as they get older, their little clever like, oh, hey mom, can I have a bar?
The last ditch efforts to not be allowed.
Can I go potty? Can I have a water?
It's
cute.
It's pretty cute. Let's do this one because it ties into several of the previous ones.
Okay.
So, picky eating, I have journaled and written a note about it being a rather soft spot for Shawn. I think she's concerned about their overall nutrition, their approach and perspective of food. Shawn, to her credit, will put so much time and effort and thought into getting the food that the kids want, preparing the food the way the kids want it, putting it on the plates how the kids like it. And then, an hour goes by of her putting an effort like this. She puts the plate down and the kids say they don't like that anymore and they don't want that. They're not hungry. Shawn pops a top.
It's the bane of my existence.
She pops a top. You said existential crisis the other day.
Yeah, I was like, this is an existential crisis. I just don't. It is wrapped in so many layers. I come from such an unhealthy background with food, to where I took it to such an extreme. So in my mind, I'm fighting that every single day to like, how can I raise them with the healthiest views on food? And like when I put so much effort into it, and I'm like, make sure maybe we should try some broccoli. And then Drew's like, no, thank you. And she's like, I'm full. And I'll try to encourage it and be like, that's great. Listen to your body, baby. And then she'll turn around and be like, I want ice cream. A whole bowl, the whole thing. I'm like, so you're not full. And she's like, I'm full for broccoli. It makes me want to bang my head against the wall.
The amount of narratives that you have going on in your brain that are conflicting with each other is astounding to me. Because when you say healthiest approach to food or relationship to food, you're not talking about eating healthy food per se, though that is part of it. It's more of a not thinking too much or too little about food, or like obsessing about it, And
it's like we live in this generation where we're over analyzing like our upbringing so much of I watch and follow so many like child psychiatrists and like food behavioral analysts and like whatever, all those doctors, all the people. And they're always like, don't force them to finish their meal. Don't force them to eat. Don't say you have to eat your broccoli in order to get ice cream. Make sure you put dessert on the table with them, or tell them, oh, actually, you don't get a snack today. Or if they don't want to eat, they don't get to have the bar before they go to bed. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, if they don't eat before they go to bed and their belly is hungry and they wake up in the middle of the night, they're not going to sleep. If they don't sleep, they're going to be in a bad mood. If they wake up in a bad mood, we're going to have a bad morning. They're not going to want to go to school. Literally how my brain works. That's how a mom's brain works.
Meanwhile, I'm over here eating
He's like,
eating my dinner the whole time. I'm literally just.
He's like, this is a good burger.
Thank you for that generous impression.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
That was offensive.
But we found out that, like us, actually 75% of parents are worried about their kids not getting enough nutrition that they need.
This is literally why I started Beam Kids.
Yeah.
Literally.
To give the multivitamins, the prebiotics, probiotics, all of the good things, fruits and veggies, to the kids in a way that they like eating it.
Yeah.
Which is in a chocolate milk.
It's not a replacement, but it is like...
It's an all-in-one.
I explained it the other day. Beam Kids was founded upon this idea of like, we're sitting at the dinner table and our kids are so frustrated and they don't want to eat more broccoli and they don't want to eat protein pasta again. They just want chocolate milk or apple juice. And I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of giving you empty calories that aren't doing anything for your body or for your development or your health. So I kind of fooled them and turned their chocolate milk into macronutrients, probiotics and prebiotics. And it's like, you know what? Have your freaking chocolate milk.
And they love it. And we love it. Frankly, it tastes so delicious. And if you're interested in trying it for you or your kids, you can check out the link below. We'll include it. It's amazing. There's this old principle. I just
want to be like sitting at this dinner table and be like, sucker. You're actually eating your broccoli.
There's an old principle of hiding the vegetables, meaning, you know, we used to eat broccoli with cheese smothered all over it. And that's how I would eat my veggies. How do you deliver the healthy stuff in a tasty way? And I think you've done a great job. To your credit, babe. So check that out. Beam Kids all-in-one super powder. It's delicious.
Our kids actually pretty much formulated the flavor. So they themselves tested like 14 different flavors and they chose their favorite one. And they literally ask for it every single day.
It's been a fun project.
Yeah.
All right, next up. Another frustration is energy management, let me call it. I feel like the kids are always so hyped to do something, which is so amazing. They love doing science experiments and bike rides and trampolines and play sets and swimming and coloring and playing in the toy room and reading. And then those are the things they want to do. And then there's the things that you feel like you need to do as a parent, which is teach them all the things, the alphabet, the colors, teach them all the daily chores of this is what it means to be responsible, and let's put the dishes away and do this and that and put your clothes away, tidy up your room.
But then on top of it, you have to have time for yourself and you have to work a full day, like a full day's job, and you have to keep your house clean and do all the adulting stuff. And keeping up that energy to truly make life special for your kids. It's not frustrating. It's just like, if only there were 7,286 hours in a day.
But beyond just the hours, it's you don't want to show up at home after a full day's work and be just too puckered out to do anything fun, to have to say no to your kids when they want to go play in the snow or whatever. It's like you want to get home, you want to work so that you can have a fun and exciting home life, in my mind.
Yeah.
And so how do you not toast yourself during the day and burn yourself out so that you don't have anything left at the end of the day? It's like so hard. I've just tried to, in my mind, anytime the kids ask to do like an outdoor activity specifically,
yes,
I'm going to say yes. And if it's like, even if I'm like, I don't got it, I'm going to find it, you know? It's dig a little deeper.
I will say, I do think our roles, there is a slight added layer of frustration that I have to deal with internally. because I always want to be the mom that says yes. Drew will be like, Mommy, will you come play with me outside? And I'm like, yes. But you did just ask me to make you a snack.
Yeah, you do.
And I
deal
know
with
we're
that
going
a
to go
lot,
outside
yeah.
and you're going to be hungry and you're going to expect Mommy to bring you a snack, but Mommy needs to also play with you. It's like, I feel like if I just stayed at the kitchen counter, I'd be fulfilling all of the demands the kids have in a day.
Yeah, it is fascinating, the kids' relationship to you versus me. I also think
It's our roles. It's fine.
Yeah. I have tried to strategically implement like a no but or a yes here, like here's when we can do it. So and it's almost like distracting
Yeah.
so that I'm not saying no to them all the time. By the way, we're not trying to never say no to our kids. We're talking
No.
about specifically engaging with them in activities, right?
We don't like to say, no, we can't come play with you right now.
Right. Which maybe we're wrong on that. I'm actually not sure. This is just an age I love interacting with our kids.
Same.
And usually, if I'm not playing with them, I'm not doing something better with my time. It's usually wasting my time. And so it's like I should be playing with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you could implement a little more. I'm not going to give you tips. I'm not here to give you tips. No, I'm done. No. That's what we're here for, or no?
Yeah, do it.
These narratives that you it's that no, I'm not gonna. Next, the discipline style with kids
gets me going. I am 1000% the disciplinarian.
What do you mean when you say that? What do you mean when you say that?
I don't know.
Do you pop your top more than I do? Yes. Does that mean discipline? No. I feel like I'm usually the one who's able to deliver. Here's how I view discipline as the process of redeeming a bad choice, teaching a lesson through the bad choice. Okay. I think. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
I think I have less leniency when it comes to.
I agree with that.
To disobedience or. Yeah.
Disrespect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's an optimistic silver lining on this. One, thank goodness we started a discipline system early on with Drew, our oldest, when she was 1 year old.
Works amazingly well.
1, 2, 3 magic. We could tell you more about that if you're curious. I'm not saying that's the best or the only disciplinarian system. What I am saying is having a system and process in place so that when your child misbehaves, it's not you throwing up your emotions and frustrations on the kids. It's a process where you can control your response in a level-headed way and teach the kid that they did something wrong in a respectful way.
And it's just consistency.
Yeah.
Like, we have stuck to it. We have stayed true to it. And they just know. All we have to do is, if they start being disrespectful and we've repeated it and warned them to a certain extent, you can say, you know what, Jet? That was one. And he shapes that real quick.
It is amazing. And just because it's ingrained in them, they know what to expect. It's great. And it's worked. I think we have well-behaved children. I'm not sure what percentage of that we can credit to 1, 2, 3 magic. The other silver lining is our different styles have led to a beautiful compromise where I think the result that we've landed on has been somewhat refined, whereas both of our systems have pros and cons to them, but now they're a little more balanced, of our natural tendencies to relate to our kids in. So I'm thankful to have you as a teammate.
Thankful to have you as a teammate.
Well, co-parent. We do a lot together.
We do everything together.
Best friends, co-workers, co-parents. What do we do? Co-travelers, adventurers.
Our spouses.
We're married?
Yeah.
We're married. We are married. We're married.
Cohabitants. We are roommates.
Yeah. Gosh, we're together all the time. Stop.
Say it with a little more enthusiasm.
I'm glad you're feeling cheeky today because I am too. Here's another frustration. Maybe you should talk about this one. You want to talk about that one?
Yeah. Do you know what that says?
What does it say?
Oh, it says learning to not overcommit.
Man.
Huh.
This is my favorite fault.
What does that word mean, Andrew?
This is my absolute favorite wrong thing to do.
Yeah. You do it a lot.
I'm a yes man. I'm a yes man. And if there's something fun that pops up or something I get invited to, and I see on the calendar that I only have 15 minutes, but by golly, you want to play
And
9
it's
holes of golf? Let's freaking
32 minutes away.
Let's go.
And it's already started. You'll still be like, yeah, I'm there.
So you're saying there's a chance, you know? It's an underdog mentality.
At the same time, you've got like a keynote across town.
It's really a prove 'em wrong mentality. It's like we can make it happen, you know? And we have, honestly, I love our city that we're in. I love our friend group. So anytime one of our friends asks us to do something, I'm like, yeah. I got to see you. This is going to be a lifelong memory. Big memory guy. One of my slogans in life is it's all part of the experience, you know? This is living is another one. Making memories is another one. YOLO kind of vibe, you know?
I've never known this about you.
YOLO is not.
YOLO's your life motto?
But they used to call me bro, you know? And the bros are there. Bros are there for you.
You're on a heater. I would say we have gotten better at this, especially with kids, because overcommitting means not having time with our kids. Or overcommitting our kids or us as a family tires everybody out to the point where you're not really having quality time.
That's super true. Here's my optimistic silver lining. It's kind of sad. I think it took kids for me to realize how much I do this. And I wish I would have learned the lesson sooner when we were married with no kids or dating. Because I think I miss some times with you. And that is the peak memory, you know?
Thank you.
Round of applause.
For myself.
No, that's good.
I finally found a steady workout and healthy eating routine that has me feeling better than I have in years, but it took me time to find my groove. Now that I'm in a good routine, I'm making sure to stay on top of my daily supplements that I know keep me feeling healthy and strong. And that's things like AG1.
You look great, babe.
Thank
you. You always have. And Shawn and I drink our AG1 first thing in the morning, mixed in with water. One quick glass of AG1 in the morning to make sure our bodies are ready to take on a day of parenting, work, travel, or whatever the day has to offer.
It's such a simple way to get all of your daily vitamins and probiotics, especially this time of year when it seems like everybody is getting sick. We've been focusing on whole body health this year, and AG1 makes it easy to prioritize your mind, body, energy, focus, gut health, and more.
So this year, try AG1 for yourself. It's the perfect time to start a healthy new habit. And if you go to drinkag1.com/couplethings, you'll save $20 on your subscription or $49 when you sign up for a double subscription, just like we have.
Plus, you'll get a free welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free travel packs. So make sure to check out drinkag1.com/couplethings to get this offer and start your new year on a healthier note. This is an interesting episode.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
What's interesting to you about it?
We're just getting giggles about the hard parts of life, and I like it.
I know. It's nervous giggles to me.
It is.
Oh, I'm like
we're slipping.
Okay, I think the next one that we could talk about. Feel free to skip over any of these that you don't want to talk about.
Okay.
The seasons. Okay, so we're a team as a married couple. I think one of the. It's not even a frustration. Really, is not the right word, but it's like a sad result. Is sometimes Shawn will be on a high, and maybe I'm in a tough phase of life or having a tough day, and then how do you deal with that? You know, I don't know. Even when we went through the miscarriage or losing my dad, there was a lot of different pages happening or different seasons that we were going through.
Yeah,
and it's like the person that's doing better than the other doesn't really want to rub it in that person's face.
Mm-hmm.
The other person doesn't want to bring the person that's doing better down.
Mm-hmm.
So then you're like, okay, do we just not talk, or I don't know. Fortunately, I think our volatility in that sense has decreased
Mm-hmm.
in some senses. We still go through seasons, but we're a little more finessed with it.
Because we don't have an infant anymore. That's why.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That was a tough season.
I remember I feel like the volatility of emotions was kind of up and down in a more mild sense before kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then it really peaked every time we had an infant.
Mm-hmm.
You're dealing with postpartum. You're dealing with identity crisis. You're dealing with your lifestyle is being drastically changed and you have to become a different person. You're putting tension on a marriage. So I think with every infant, it spiked the volatility and then it kind of leveled out. And then we'd have another infant and kind of happen again. But I would say the thing that frustrates me about that, or not frustrates, but was the hardest, is after Drew, we learned it. We learned the volatility. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean we also don't mean volatility like
In a wild way.
Yeah, in like an aggressive way towards
Just
each other.
different seasons.
Yeah,
on
just
different
higher
ends
emotions.
of the spectrums.
Yeah. But the hard part for me going into like the second kid and third kid was knowing it was coming.
Mm.
And knowing like we're about to hit a crazy roller coaster again. That's going to level out in a year, but it's going to be a year of like figuring it out again.
Yeah. I think our takeaway from this, I'm not really had this thought until you're speaking right now. This is why when we talk about like Thursday night date nights or the bev time that we have where, we'll each put a kid down and then inevitably one person will be downstairs and finish with that process before the other person. And there's pretty much an explicit expectation now that we have talked about where it's if I come downstairs after you, I expect there to be no phone, just like you expect me to have no phone. And that be a time where we can just like be together. So all these different rigid rhythms that we've established, the liturgy of our day, it doesn't ensure connection or it doesn't create connection, but it gives us the highest possible probability of there being any type of connection. Because if we don't make that time regularly, there will always be a miss. You know what I'm saying? You're just like randomly hoping that we would connect. And that applies to like intimacy, emotional connection, availability for dates, whatever. It's like, that's why I think our rhythms have become so valuable. And boy, we have gotten super rigid with them as we've had more kids.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful for that. I'm like, I really am a fly by the seat of your pants kind of guy. But
not anymore.
Now I depend on that type of stuff. So, yeah. Here's my big takeaway. We can close the episode
of the whole
you're
thing.
good with this.
Okay. Yeah.
I think what I've learned in our marriage counseling course, it was 16 weeks, 2 hours in person a week, 2 hours of homework a week, every week. It's pretty much like school. You had a textbook and everything. Is a beautiful outcome of life is peace. And the best way to achieve peace is the process of realizing it's not what happens to you, it's how you respond to what happens to you. And so my close to this episode is I'm glad that a lot of these things that used to be frustrations are now almost like we can giggle about them. I have peace throughout them.
If you just endure through them.
Yeah. And you equip yourself with tools psychologically and faith-wise and both. And then you give yourself a team and the relationships and friends to help make you through it, or help get you through it. It really becomes like just part of the experience, That's my takeaway.
I like it. I liked our little venting session.
Yeah, that was good. I'm glad we could laugh through it.
But it is fun. Like everything we talked about can be frustrating, but it's also like the joy of life.
It is. And I don't want to dwell on the hard things about marriage and parenting. I hope that's not the vibe of this episode.
No.
Hopefully it was rather to encourage you that we're all in this together. Maybe you're experiencing some of the similar things Shawn and I are, being 9 years into marriage, having 3 young kids. There's a lot of shared experiences, which is what makes this whole process of us sharing videos online and doing these podcasts so much fun. Is we get to do this all together with like a group of people like you who are also doing it. And you have encouraged us so much. My gosh. So thank you. And I hope that you know the marriage and family are hard, but my gosh, they are worth pursuing. So keep on keeping on. You got this. And like Shawn said, nothing worthwhile comes easy. So thanks for listening. If you made it this far, subscribe to the show. Let us know your thoughts on this. What frustrations are you experiencing that we might have missed? There are a lot of things to be frustrated about in life, you know, but you don't have to be frustrated by them.
Yes.
But nevertheless, let us know your thoughts, responses.
Also, if you're interested in being kids, I will link it in the show notes down below. I hope you guys love it. Great talking. We'll see you
next week. Bye.